So when we think about all of these products out here and you see different businesses, how do they differentiate themselves from one another?
Well, one thing I think is that, is that they have to figure out what is their unique, or what makes them valuable, what is their value proposition. And and I think really kind of focusing on that, and also really trying to zig while other people are zagging. So if you have someone who's in the same industry, who's doing the same thing, how can you do something different that'll be unique to you, but it's still true to your own personality or the persona of the business brand? Because at the end of the day, you always want to be authentic and stay true to who you are, and and not try to chase somebody else or not try to chase other ideas. So I think that becomes really, really key. One of the things that I would do is I would make sure that I was doing research on other competitors within the same industry, and I would look at what they were doing online. I would want to make sure that that the content that they're creating, that I'm creating stuff that's going to be unique to my brand. I want to see what they're doing, so that when I'm actually creating stuff and creating ideas and pushing my ideas out there, that when people see it, that my ideas look fresh, they look like they're really unique to me, and that I've thought through every single aspect of it. But the other part of it is that I would make it very easy and make sure that my ideas were social and easily shared, because people are not going to work hard to go after your information, to go find the information, and then to go share that information if they like it. Okay, all right, so that's one. And then the other thing is that I would tell people is that you have to be willing to disrupt yourself. And so I'll give you an example. If you look at Apple, Apple came out with the iPod. They actually cannibalized their actual sales by creating the iPhone. But what that caused them, it caused them to have increased market share, and they're doing extremely well. I'll give you another company, Kodak. They owned the film industry for years. They created the digital camera. They did not want to go and really exploit that market, because all their money was being made in film. And they recently filed Chapter 11 because they weren't willing to disrupt themselves. They were already successful, but they were not willing to disrupt themselves with what was next, and it really was the demise of the actual company. Now, it's an American brand. They still exist. We want them to do well, but you can see it's the tale of two different companies.
So in a practical sense, entrepreneurs need to make sure that they're paying close attention to their brand and how they get it out, keeping it fresh and new, so that their audience connects with it.
Yes, yes. And then also too, your audience is going to really, they might guide you into a different direction. You might have to pivot with the product that you have. You might need to make some changes, because at the end of the day, the product is not just for you and your mother unless she's Oprah, right? And then maybe she can go out and buy, like 1 million widgets or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, the customers are really going to define that. And just like with text messaging, half these cell companies had no idea that text messaging would really be as great as it was, but it was millennials. It was the young demographic that really defined that and really opened that entire segment up, and that's why we have to pay all this money for extra text messaging.
Yeah. Final thought that you would leave then with an entrepreneur who is existing in business, but they just can't seem to get it right. They're trying to move to that next level, or that aspiring entrepreneur who don't know how to, in fact, put their brand out there in the general market. What would you say to them?
I would say that you have to be willing to work harder than anybody else. You have to be willing to work harder than someone else, and also too, this thing is not just this is not an event. This is a journey. I've been an entrepreneur for years, you've been an entrepreneur for years, and there are things that we've learned. We have to learn from our mistakes, and we have to be willing to stay the course long enough so that we can get there. People look at, at someone like a Steve Jobs. Okay, he was fired from Apple, and there was an 11-year hiatus. They brought him back, and he is one of the greatest business people to ever, to ever be a part of the actual business arena. And so in one tale, it looked like he failed. But during that hiatus, during that particular period, he had some of his greatest inventions, which it was like Pixar. He had a series of things that really helped prepare him for the later success that we saw when he came back to Apple.
Sure. Thank you very much, and we wish you the best in all your endeavors.
Okay, well, thank you very much.
Okay.
All right.
American Entrepreneur will return in a moment.